Ken, it's time to talk about the 2025-26 Whitworth women's basketball season, an exciting time for the Pirates. Uh, just talk about how this roster has come together over the last few weeks during preseason practices, during exhibition games, and how you see this team meshing together.
Yeah, I mean, being able to have those early practices has really been a blessing, especially the past 2 years with this, young core that is made up primarily of, sophomores contributing, a junior, a couple transfers. It's been really nice to have them all integrate really well. Having those early practices allowed us to, lengthen our runway, I'd say, and kind of let the team mesh sooner. And, having our, two exhibitions early has been really, really nice just because when you play, high-level competition like we did at Eastern on the 29th and then this past Saturday against Tech, you learn a lot of things that you might not learn until you get through a non-conference schedule. So I told the team, after our game at Eastern, I feel like we have valuable lessons picked up that we probably wouldn't have until Christmas break. So it felt like we were 2 months ahead as far as all of the things that we had on our checklist to improve on, and I'm really excited going forward of now getting some games that count, that we can maybe take those things forward and just kind of up our urgency right away.
Talk a little bit about the fact that this team is primarily freshmen and sophomores, but for the most part, the older players on this team are new to the team. How that all works out in terms of the cohesion.
Yeah, I think the thing that I told the group in probably our first team meeting of the year is there's positives on both sides of the coin where you have a group that's young, so that means they all have the excitement because it's still new enough to them, but they all have the urgency because they're contributing and getting time. So usually what you have with seniors is the urgency and the care and the experience. Well, we have the experience part and we're starting to get the urgency part. The care is always going to be there because, the group loves each other. And then as freshmen and sophomores, you have that, youthful exuberance of everyone being excited to be there because there's so many things that are new. I think we have a perfect mix of those. The group's really invested into the program, but more importantly, one another because they know that this is the group going forward as well. It's not like we have, only another player or two for this year and then we graduate them. It's like this is going to be the core, and that's really exciting. So when you bring in, older transfers, they know what it's like at the college level. They just had to learn how we do things here. So, and being able to bring in, their voice and their experiences and their opinions that we've welcomed, as a staff and with our returning players has really been positive. Just having to incorporate new people that have experience that they're not learning how to play basketball at the collegiate level. They're just learning Whitworth and their new teammates.
Coming off of a season in which this sophomore class were freshmen and they had to learn under fire last year, as you aim for a conference tournament berth and you look down at the goals toward the end of the year, in what way do you think this team is better this season?
It's always weird for me when even going back to, past experiences, coaching on other teams, or even as a player, when you think about your teammates, you never think, oh, they just got better because they got older. But when you look at other teams that you're not a part of, you always think, well, they're going to be better because they're older. So it's that little thing where, if you see a group every day, you don't feel that they improve as much as when you see a group once a month. And I think it's something where, our learning curve is extremely small. Like they pick up things really fast. And just having the high collective IQ, like we've spoken about a little bit already, is that they know what it's going to take. There's not going to be any surprises when they get to conference play. They know what all the other gyms look like. They know what the experiences are. They know what the rosters are. There are our schedule. So all of those things not being new, but now being familiar will allow us to really springboard into things and understanding that, while conference is really where you have to peak and really hit your stride, this is a group where we've been preaching to them like the next game is the most important game of the year. Like we can't look ahead to anything. The group cannot wait to get going in conference play and see all of the teams again from last year, but we're really looking forward to just building on those things. And like you mentioned with our core of sophomores, even though there are some, new people, whether it's transfers or freshmen that will, contribute and have an impact, those freshmen were, all rotation pieces at least. So it's something where, it's not going to be, the test isn't going to change. The answers aren't going to change. They're just going to be able to have better responses, which I'm looking forward to as well as they are.
You're going to officially open the season this weekend down in Walla Walla, a tournament hosted by Whitman. a good team from Wisconsin and a team that we're maybe not as familiar with from Texas, St. Thomas. Talk about the challenges that each of these teams are going to present.
Just I think with our size as a whole not being huge across the front line, that's always going to be one throughout the entire course of the season. Just having to, defend and rebound collectively and really have each other's backs is going to be huge. Honestly, building off of this past Saturday against probably a team that we won't see that kind of size against, I thought we showed a really good fight in some spurts and some stretches. So just know we're going to have to build on those. Wisconsin Platteville has really good size as well, and a team that had a good opening win on the road, so they're not going to be nervous or anything coming pretty much across the country and playing in a new gym and a new space against a different team. So we just have to meet that moment, and I think we will be, just based on kind of exhibitions, and that was kind of the plan of let's play some high level athletes and competition just so we're ready to hit the road. And then St. Thomas, Texas is another group where they have good athletes. They really play quickly. We're going to have to meet the game. Two different games. One's going to be a little more slower pace, quicker pace, but I think the variability in our skill set and how diverse we can play is really going to help us throughout the course of the season, but starting this weekend hopefully with two good ones.